Morning, fellow zombies. It's 9:27 in the morning. It is the 17th of February, 2023. Excuse me. A few days ago this week, Senator John Fetterman had to check himself into the hospital because of depression's kicking his ass. Last year, he had suffered a stroke, and he fought like hell through the rehab to get himself back to somewhat of an operating status. To the point where his state actually voted him into office, a 6-year term. But unfortunately, due to the complications of the stroke, they're kicking his ass. And since he's got the government packages now to help him out with this stuff, now they're making a big deal about it in the press. But they're trying to show and trying to prop him up as a big hero, and because he's taking care of himself. And now you got the Democrats and Republicans making the show. At least a couple of them each. They're reporting, giving him a lot of support. And yeah, they're going to turn this into a damn political thing. But depression is not political. Depression is a kick-ass thing that's kicking people's asses to the curb and suicide and shit like that. And if we don't get the chemical imbalances righted in their brain, that's where it goes. One of the news organizations was showing our current president talking about his loss of his family, loss in his family, due to a car accident, tragic one, and how he was trying to deal with the grief and depression. They're mistaking it on the news there. They were talking about the depression. They only showed a clip about it, a little small clip, but not the entire thing. Where, excuse me, how he's trying to handle grief and depression at the same time, and they don't get it. The news editors, the medical editors, are not getting the damn thing because I keep seeing the damn differences, and they're not talking about it as they should have. They don't get that grief has depression locked in. You don't get depressed without something majorly triggering the damn thing, either biological or emotional. And for me, I had been depressed for a long while. I know during this past 10 years, it's gotten worse and worse. But they hadn't talked about it as much, not until you have people just dying or killing themselves left and right. But they've been doing that for a hell of a long while, and we never saw it. We never saw it. We never saw them being depressed left and right. So now the new political catch thing is, now let's catch depression here because it'll do something bad to you. For centuries, we've been dealing with it in our own different ways of how to deal with grief and depression. Grief is one of those major processes, emotional processes, we still are still trying to get a handle on. And there's no chemical needs out there except maybe to dilute or wash the brain a little bit, mess around with the neurons just to make sure that we can feel happy so we can function in society and life. So we can quote unquote enjoy life and function in life. But no, it's function in society because society will not take for granted and they won't understand the grief and depression. Now how the hell am I saying about all this damn shit? Observations, learning history left and right. In general, how to see people, hearing from people, hearing from these experts, and then talking about people, talking to people about it. There are the party lines that medical establishment will go through regarding depression, of what they understand it. They're still trying to learn more and more about it. publishing articles in their journals about grief and depression. I talk about mine because I'm going through my own damn thing right now, as it is. This is a pain in the ass. What Fetterman's going through, his body is still trying to get itself right at his brain and his neurochemistry. I'm not a scientist, I'm not medical, but I have been through family who's had it. My grandmother had it, my mother had it, my brother had it. They've all had the depression through different things. My grandmother was depressed all the time because half her brain was gone, literally. A massive stroke took out one side of her brain, made her totally dependent upon everybody. She was bedridden. Depression from the outskirts of that was affecting the family a great deal, including me. And I know it was affecting my mother a great deal, especially after we lost grandma because of the complications of stroke. How it permeated throughout our lives, our lifetimes. Our behaviors changed, but we tried to adapt, we tried to cope, we tried to blend in, and then for a long while it seemed like we did. We had the moleskin on, as I said. Moleskin on our emotions, so we're not freaking out as much, but we're trying to enjoy life as much as we could. Excuse me, I'm still having issues this morning.